Hey everybody, my name's Joe.
I'm also Joe.
Welcome back to SNES's Real Life Recap number 35. We're going to just slam right into this. First game we played out of this set of 5 was Starfox. Starfox is a rail shooter, best known for the fact that it was the introduction of the Super FX chip on the Super Nintendo, basically making polygonal and wireframe 3D graphics possible on the Super Nintendo. I mean, is it perfect? No. But honestly, I felt like the game held up pretty well.
Agree. Clearly, it was good enough to start a series.
Yeah. No, I will say I don't think they've done much with the series, but it exists. And they do still pop a game out for it every now and then. Fox is in Smash Brothers. Are the other characters in Smash?
Wolf.
Wolf is in there?
Falco.
Is he? Okay. So other characters made it into Smash. I mean, it's pretty basic. It's a rail shooter. You just fly around your R-Wing. You can choose from the cockpit or the third-person view. The physics can be a little wonky. It gets kind of hard to control sometimes, especially when you're trying to do barrel rolls. It's not the easiest thing. But the enemies are kind of varied in the way they look, though they pretty much all move and attack the same. And it's just kind of cool to have seen a 3D game this early in. I mean, 3D for what it is. It was neat to move in the planes of motion that you could and everything else. Music was solid. The sound was good. There were 3 different difficulty levels, essentially. There are a couple bonus levels, hidden stages that you can find. It's not bad.
I agree.
Yeah, we played it to the end, so it took us like an hour to beat on easy, so not the hardest thing on the planet. I mean, we did use save states, but I could absolutely see beating this within an hour without them if you just took a little bit more time to practice. Thumb up?
Yeah.
Thumb up. Next up, 2-player fighting game, which we know we're not huge fans of, but this is King of Fighters Fatal Fury from the Neo Geo. This is part of the arcade game. We're not big fighting guys.
Correct.
We thumbed up Street Fighter, I think, back early because Street Fighter basically held the genre on its shoulders, you know. And Street Fighter looks good, and it plays smooth, and the music is excellent.
We thumbed up Ranma.
Yeah, I mean, we've thumbed up a couple fighting games. This is not going to be one of them. The biggest issue with this game is there are like 12 characters in it, and if you're playing it by yourself, you have the choice of 3. You get like your guy with like the red coat, your guy with the white coat, and then like kickboxy guy. It sucks. There is a little bit of back and forth plane of movement here. The graphics are actually really good. I
agree.
think. Like the sprite work, the backgrounds are animated just like Street Fighter. The music was really good. In the end, it just didn't play well enough to me. So like the moves are pulled off the same as Street Fighter, but Street Fighter had a much grander scale of things to do.
It was also a lot easier to pull stuff off on Street Fighter.
Yes. Well, it had more stuff to pull off, which made a lot of them easier. You know, Street Fighter utilized all 6 buttons. The Neo Geo only had 4 buttons. This game only used 3. So you had a punch, a kick, and a throw. And every guy had like 2 special moves. The main characters had, I think, 4. And it just didn't have that Street Fighter turbo polish. Like everything seemed kind of slow. It wasn't super fast paced.
Very slow.
Yeah, like walking across the screen took a hot second. And that's kind of unfortunate.
It also has a great downfall of it is really easy to cheese.
Yeah, you
and
can
just do
absolutely
one move over and over again, and you can't recover from it.
Yep. Because when you get hit, there's like a half a second of like, ugh. And so if you get someone locked in the corner doing the stupid like slide kicks and things like that, you will lock them down. It gets very difficult to escape. It's not terrible. I can think of worse fighters to play, but I did end up giving it a thumbs down. It just wasn't quite good enough.
I also gave it a thumbs down.
Okay. You want to take on this next trash fire? This is Outlander, based on Mad Max 2, the Road Warrior movie.
You know how much I remember about this game? Like none.
You're going to remember in a second.
I know what it is. I remembered as soon as the title screen popped up. But
yeah, buddy.
I don't even know how to describe the game. It was a driving game.
Yeah.
that you stopped every so often, like whenever you heard like, was it a beeping?
The beeping, yeah.
And you would stop, and you would go into a town, and in the town it became a side-scrolling action. It wasn't a platform. There weren't platforms.
No, but I hesitate to call it action.
You walk across the screen, you kill the people in the town.
Yeah.
Or you try.
Mm-hmm.
And you pick up the items in the town.
Sure.
And then you leave the town.
Okay.
And you get to do that about 33 times.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of levels in this game. Most of it is, you see right here, you're driving your car. There's some neat concepts here. You're in your car. Dudes drive up on you on bikes. You can see right there on the bottom left, like you look out your window and hold your shotgun up, and you can shoot them off their bikes, or you can run them over. The bad thing about the game is you have a fuel gauge, and when you get to town, you pick up fuel. Well, town sucks.
The town is the worst part of the game. And the driving wasn't good either.
I was just saying, I don't know, dude. Like, the whole game is the worst part of the game.
There's a lot to pay attention to.
Yeah, all the bikes running around. Some of them are throwing crap at you. You can't, like...
You have to keep track of your health, your fuel, your ammo for both of your weapons. You have to keep track of people coming up on your side, people coming up in front of you. You have to pay attention to your driving so you don't run into anything or go off the road. It's just so much.
One of my biggest arguments is this. This is supposed to be the apocalypse. I ain't never seen this many road signs on any road ever on the planet now, and it ain't the apocalypse. But apparently in the apocalypse, there are road signs and sawhorses across the road every 25 feet, and they are nigh unavoidable. Also, where are all these bikers coming from? Hey, you're about to see town. We're going into town here. Into the town of Wreckwood, apparently.
Like level 1.
The side-scrolling part here reminds me a lot of
Terminator.
No,
it was
RoboCop.
Was it?
I don't
know. Yeah, I see it.
And the movement is just as stiff as RoboCop was. Like, you get that one little hop, and then you get a punch and a duck and a shoot, but your ammo is super limited, and yeah, you can see how awful it is.
There are great moments in this game when you're in the town where you can punch someone and your fist phases through their face, doesn't harm them. And so it's just like sometimes you will hit people, sometimes you won't. The game kind of just decides that at its own discretion.
There's like 3 enemy sprites that just get recycled. Yeah. It's awful. The music was not great. The sound was poor. The graphics were poor. The gameplay was poor. This is just a solid thumbs down.
Absolutely.
Is it... There are games that are worse than this.
Not many.
This is pretty bad. It was not fun in the least to play. Sorry. Next up, another fighting game. This one's called Street Combat. This was kind of interesting. When I first looked at it, I mean, you can see right there you're the blue guy, or you get the blue guy. And the blue guy looks to me like they put Captain Novelin slightly upgraded graphically into a fighting game. You can't tell me he doesn't look like Captain Novelin.
He does look like Captain Novelin.
He absolutely looks like Captain Novelin. I wonder if it was made by the same people, frankly. This game, you are forced to be Captain Novelin. You can either be Captain Novelin in the power suit or Captain Novelin, I think, in like white
Street
clothes.
clothes.
Yeah. But that is it. If you play 2-player, the second player can play all the other characters. But player 1 is restricted to Captain Novelin, whose name is Steven. He's not Captain Novelin, but he's Captain Novelin to me forever. Captain Novelin for life. All the other characters, everybody does have a special move or two. All the other characters have kind of unique personalities and moves. The graphics, they're lower end, frankly. They're not great, but they're not the worst thing I've ever seen. And actually, after spending like an hour with it, I don't know, they kind of grew on me.
It was definitely a cartoony.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. Like, you could tell that they weren't aiming for a higher level.
Right.
Like, they're like, this was the art style they chose to go with, which was kind of cartoony and bulbous. And that's okay. It looked all right for that. I did like
You belong to the scrap pile.
Yeah, and there's always like a bad pun every time he beats a guy. The little munchkin dude, I forgot about
Happy.
him. He's bonkers. This is like a bonus stage. The music was generally okay. The sound was okay. The gameplay was all right. Would I go back and choose to play this?
No.
No. If someone came up at me and they're like, "Man, I really want to play a game. Let's play this." I'd be like, "All right." Like, I gave it a thumbs up because it did grow on me. I actually did kind of enjoy playing it with someone else. I would not want to play this single player. It would be boring as sin. But playing it with another person, I didn't feel was that bad. And I actually, like I said, did kind of enjoy myself by the end. So I did give it a thumbs up. It's okay. If someone asked me to play it, I would play it.
This was, for me, it was like right on the line of thumb up or thumb down. I think I ended up giving it a thumbs down because of the ranged people.
I forgot about that. Yeah, there's a couple guys that have like a sword and a bow
dude with
staff.
2 swords, a dude with a bow staff, and then the robot has a gun, and they are very difficult to beat unless you cheese it.
Yeah, because they just...
To be fair, against
the computer
at least, it's
can.
very easy to cheese and win.
Yeah,
and
the bow staff and the swords are like up over your head. So if you're ducking, it misses, and then you just slide kick them.
It was just easiest to, just sit inside and then do the weird Mega Man leaf spin.
Yeah, I mean, could be better, but that's all right. I mean, I don't have any argument with you thumbs down on it. Well, like you said, you were right on the line. I think I was right on the line. I just felt just shy over it from you. So, not the worst thing we've played. Not the best, but okay. Next up is, I think, a surprise for both of us. This was Tecmo Super NBA Basketball, 5-on-5 basketball. And I think this may be the first basketball game we thumb-upped.
Yeah, it absolutely was, actually. Graphically speaking, I think this game looked great, actually.
The sprite work is actually pretty decent. I think that the key is they did a lot as far as, like, there's some shading in there and some nice definition, but then they also didn't try and make it so defined. Like, they're kind of amorphous blobbish.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see a lot of detail. It's just
you've got jersey colors.
Yeah, arms, legs, heads, and jersey colors, basically.
There's no
skin
face.
colors. Yeah, no face to speak of whatsoever. All their hairs look the same. But the sprite works pretty decent. The color palettes are bright and visible. The ball is orange.
Instead
so
of
you
the
can
same color
see
as the
the thing. That was the bad side of this game, but we'll get to it.
I think graphically it was really good.
Graphically, it was fine.
Sound. There was music.
There was. And
that is ridiculous. It would never been done before, actually.
In a basketball game. Yeah. Like, every sports game we play, we're like, this is terrible and it needs music. And then this game actually had music. And the music wasn't that bad. The sound effects, you got squeaky shoes and bouncy balls. I mean, they were okay. The gameplay.
The only thing I didn't like about gameplay, actually, was if someone tries to dunk the ball, you aren't stopping them.
No,
unless you shove them over and take a foul, you aren't stopping them. They're getting the dunk.
Yep.
And it's really easy to get the dunk, actually.
Yep. As long as you get anywhere near it, you will probably dunk the ball.
The other thing I don't like, if you're trying to block someone, and they jump to take a shot, you're charging them. You are absolutely knocking them down. Without a doubt, you cannot stop it. If you are, like, on their character sprite, and they jump to shoot,
contact,
they are falling and you are getting fouled.
Yeah.
Those are the only two things I didn't like, though.
Yeah, so the controls are okay. The movement's fine. The AI is on your
the AI is ridiculous.
Time. Like, it is, if you're moving and it's not against another player, the AI is on you, man.
Frankly, it's kind of annoying. But
we could never quite get the shot mechanics down super well. Like, you would nail a bunch of 3-pointers and then we wouldn't nail any. Simple layups that you thought you would make would bounce off. Dunking was the guaranteed score. The only downside I really, really have to this game, actually I got 2 points I want to make. One is there's no way to turn fouls off. We're not sports guys. We don't know basketball, so we don't know what. I mean, we learn. We know what charging is. You can step out of bounds. Oh my God, that was a third thing. Out of bounds exists in this game. In every other basketball game we've ever played, it is just like, this is the edge of the court. You cannot move out of it. And this game, the edge of the court, like, it looks like a solid thing, but you can take that one pixel step over, and it's like, burp, burp, out of bounds. So you can't turn fouls off. You can't step out of bounds. Crap, what was my third thing. It's really hard to figure out where the hell you're about to pass the ball. Like, for me, when I would go to pass the ball, it was basically just kind of a crapshoot. I was like, well, I'm going to hit the pass button. Yeah. I guess we'll see where the ball goes after.
It goes to the person that has the unhighlighted symbol above their head, but the game also switches that depending on which one is closer to the ball at the time. So, like, I remember one time the highlighted dude, or the non-highlighted guy, was at the top, and I wanted to pass to him so I could then shoot in. But as I got, just a step closer, it switched to the last dude as I hit the pass button, and it passed to the guy down there.
Yeah.
And I was not ready.
I did have a really good run for a minute in here. What happened is Joey would score, and my guy would get the ball under Joey's hoop. And I would pass the ball, and I would let my computer run it all the way down. And I would leave intentionally the guy I was controlling at the other end of the court where Joey was. And so, or I'm sorry, I would score. You would pass the ball and run down to that side of the court. I would leave my guy at the end. Joey would take a shot. The computer would inevitably rebound it because the computer AI was crazy. And then as soon as the computer gets the ball, I get control. And I would immediately pass it. And he would pass it all the way down the court to my one open guy by Joey's net, and I would dunk the ball. And I did that like 4 or 5 times. Now
my computer never stayed. As soon as it got the ball, it just ran back.
Now that's a thing you could just agree not to do in a game. But it was just kind of us figuring the game out. Overall, though, I mean, yeah. If you could turn the fouls off, this game would be great. But even with the fouls on, like, we had a fun time. It was enjoyable. So this is absolutely, if you want a good 5-on-5 basketball game from this era, I think Super Tecmo NBA basketball is probably it for now. I mean, we know NBA Jam is coming, but that's a 2-on-2 arcade style. Like, this is full court 5-on-5. And that's, thus far, has been really hard to do. And they did, I think, a very amicable job. So, good job, Tecmo. Thumbs up.
Yep.
That's it for this set of 5 games. Not a great turnout, but better than I think the week before. It was like all thumbs down. So, it's been a little better, and we had a good time. So, thanks a lot for watching episode recap 35. We're working on the next set of 5, and we'll be back with that. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.
See ya.